Greetings, travelers, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Fire Emblem Three Houses, presented by Draco Breach, and, like I said, more support conversations, starting with Lorenz, and I kinda guessed it would be Lysithea.
Lysithea, do you have a moment?
I
There's a
honestly
matter
don't
of
know how far I'll
significance I'd like to
go
discuss with
with
you.
all
I
the
know you're
supports,
always
but
seeking the attention
I'd
of
like to at least
others,
look at them.
but why are you wasting your breath on me?
Don't be silly. I'm here to discuss Fodlan's future.
I'm not so sure I'm the one being silly. Actually, I'm busy. Stuff to do.
Now, hold on just a moment. House Cordelia will never benefit from such a narrow-minded mentality.
I was under the impression you were interested in me as a person. What do house matters have to do with anything?
The world is in ruins. Have you given no thought to how the Leicester Alliance might address this crisis?
I couldn't care less.
House Cordelia may be small, but a small house is fettered by fewer obligations than a larger one. Apply yourselves actively in diplomacy, negotiate wisely, and you could do much to help maintain peace among the neighboring lords. The recognition of those lords would benefit your house immensely. To that end, why not start with me, the heir to House Gloucester? It couldn't hurt for us to become friends, could it?
Yes, of course, when the time comes. But right now, I'm quite busy. Maybe later. As it is, I'm studying magic for the benefit of Fodlan's future, and I would appreciate it if you left me to it.
Ah, I see. Then forgive the intrusion. I will take my leave of you for now. But if there is any way I can be of help to you or your house, I hope that you won't hesitate to ask.
For some reason, I was under the impression that they're related because they have similar crests.
My responsibility.
The future.
Wow, he is full of himself.
As though I have a future.
Okay, and Manuela, because sure.
Lawrence, do you have a moment to spare, my dear?
Hello, Professor Manuela. I trust all is well with you.
I am quite well, thank you for asking. You are always such a gentleman.
Thank you for saying so. How may I be of service?
I was wondering if we might spend a
Well,
little time
according
together,
to
maybe
his
share
support
a-
dialogues with
Certainly. It
Byleth,
is an honor to speak with someone as
maybe
elegant as
not
yourself.
as much of a gentleman as we
I've just
think.
made tea. Would you like a cup?
Oh, that would be just lovely. Lawrence, I hope you won't think it too forward of me, but I was wondering if you could explain a poem to me. It goes like this. Verdant rains soothe my aching heart like a cherished friend. Amid time's flow I mourn, bonds I'm not sure I can ever rend. As my mind clings to desperate thoughts, here it comes, horsebow moon and summer's end.
Oh, that's my poem.
As I suspected, I've checked absolutely everyone's handwriting. It's a sad poem, though, isn't it? Feels lonely, possibly even
Lorenz wrote that?
defeated. What makes you feel that way, Lawrence? Why aren't you happy? I very much want to know.
Well, I suppose I... Wait, why are you reading my poetry? Where did you even get that?
I found it, and when I saw the words, I read them. Well, that's what people do when they see words. They read them.
Kindly return that at once.
Wow.
Reading someone else's work without permission. What an egregious breach of etiquette. Honestly.
Oh, dear. Snatching at something someone else is holding. How violent. It's not like you to lose your composure, Lawrence.
Please, just...
She's doing this on purpose.
I beg you.
I'm afraid I could never forget that peek into the darkness of your soul. Nor would I want to.
Then at the very least, would you kindly promise not to mention it to anyone else?
Don't feel embarrassed. No. Be proud. It's a lovely piece of writing. Quite revealing. I'd never guess you'd have such hidden depths. Tell me more.
That's quite enough.
Wow, that scowl.
Adorable. So bashful. I simply must hear more of his poetry sometime soon.
Oh boy, we know where that's going. Okay, so Lysithea has more to say to Hanneman. Because apparently that's a thing.
Is this a good spot for this book?
That will do nicely, Lysithea. I'm sorry to trouble you with these chores.
It's no trouble. After all, it's proper etiquette for the young to help the elderly.
The elderly? I'm only... Never mind. How have you been feeling of late? Anything worth mentioning?
I've been feeling well enough, all things considered.
You seem to be maturing remarkably. No doubt your well-being is due to the positive influence of your twin crests working in tandem.
Here he goes with the positive again. Looks like your research is more useless than I thought.
I may ignore your assaults on my age, but I will not allow unfettered attacks upon my research. What makes you think it's lacking? Surely you do not deny that your crest-related abilities exceed those of your peers. You are so far ahead of the others. Even the combined effects of the twin crests you pick do not fully account for that discrepancy.
You just can't see beyond the crest, can you? In all your research, haven't you considered that my abilities are a direct result of the effort I put in?
Of course, I am aware that you are a hardworking student, but...
My efforts far exceed those of...
Yeah, Hanneman, open mouth, insert foot.
on growing as quickly as possible.
Is the ability to expend such incredible efforts, to be so focused and driven, is that not a form of talent?
It has nothing to do with talent. It's a question of sheer will. I'm determined
Yeah, Hanneman, open mouth, insert foot.
I see. But what drives you to such lengths?
I have goals, just like anyone. And precious little time in which to achieve them.
Little time?
The people who made me as I am informed me that my life would be drastically shortened as a result. A person bearing two crests against the will of nature itself. Well, clearly it can't be sustainable. As such, I don't indulge in the luxury of fantasizing about the future. I haven't got one. Knowing all this now, you still claim that my crests are something positive?
I cannot. Please understand. I had no idea.
I'll be leaving now.
Lysithea. So that is why you...
Yep, we are slowly learning about our troops. That is 100% for sure. Flane and Manuela. Huh, okay. Flane does not have that many, supports.
Hello, Professor Manuela. I wish you to know that I have heard ever so much about your talents.
Whatever are you talking about, Flame?
Singing! Why, you are wonderfully skilled at it, are you not? Why, I have even overheard people saying your voice is akin to the singing of a goddess.
It makes me happy to hear. But who told you that?
Oh, the students are always speaking of it, which got me to thinking, I may be the only person in all of the academy who's never heard your beautiful voice in song. So, I was wondering, Manuela, might you sing a little something for me?
Your request is touching, but I can't
Oh,
perform on
gee.
such short notice. My voice is an instrument and requires proper gentle care. However, the stories are true. I was
It's called a
once the
warm-up.
leader of the Middle Franc troop, but that was a long time ago.
Middle Franc? What do those words mean precisely?
You've never heard of the Middle Franc troop? Before the war, it was the single most popular opera company in the imperial capital.
This may be the most we've actually learned about Mittelfranc.
I was the star, in fact.
Oh, wow. In all of Enbar? They must not have been around when I was living there.
You used to live in Enbar?
Indeed. Although I was quite a bit younger at the time. It is where I was born, as a matter of fact.
Oh, well, you must have been too young to hear about us.
Yes, that could be. And what precisely is the function of an opera troupe?
You don't know what an opera troupe is? Well, it's a group of performers like myself who act out stories on stage in front of a big audience. Stories with lots of singing.
Oh, I understand now. I certainly have experience in the fine art of storytelling. There is often singing as a part of story time for the children of the monastery.
That is darling, Flame. But I'm not sure it's quite the same thing as an opera. You see, operas are performed in grand theaters with orchestral accompaniment. Everyone attending wears their finest. It is a very special occasion.
Theaters, they're called? You mean to say that there are buildings exclusively used for telling stories?
You've never even heard of a theater? You're an intelligent girl, Flame, and the world
Flame has been
wonders.
sheltered.
You have a lot left to discover.
Flame has been very sheltered, and she's slowly revealing, like, little tidbits that I'm sure Seteth and Flame don't really want getting out through these conversations. Wow, this took a lot less time than I thought, but last episode was...
That aren't called for. It's driving me batty.
You presuppose I am only thinking of you.
Let's just not do this, shall we? I don't know why we always end up fighting.
It can hardly be helped. You and
I'm just
I
gonna keep
seem
calling them
to
the old married couple.
on let's call it an instinctual level. Perhaps this could even be considered a form of fate.
What an awkward fate to have. I'd like you a lot more if I just hated you. All this fighting and making up is just exhausting.
Agreed, yes. It does feel as if we have fallen into a rather tiresome bit of repetition.
What a waste of effort. We're absolutely hopeless, the both of us. Here's a thought. Couples who are similar to one another, share the same views and all that. They're pretty successful. But complete opposites work together too. Surprisingly well sometimes. They compensate for each other's weaknesses, and they support one another. Then I look at how hard we work just to avoid screaming at each other, and I don't buy it.
Don't be so hasty to dismiss your own hypothesis. For instance, I am apt at cleaning, but have no talent for cookery, whilst you loathe cleaning, but are a splendid chef. Would it not be an easier life if, rather than struggle through our weaker areas, we divided the work?
Huh. I suppose our differences
Old
do have their
married
advantages
couple.
that way.
Indeed, if we combine our abilities, housework would be conquered and dinner rendered delicious. There are other ways we could find to support one another, I would imagine. We might make a better pair than you think. You and I, together.
Huh. You might be
These
honest.
A supports. Oh my goodness.
I could be pretty good together. Wait. Why are we talking about this? Are you trying to propose marriage with promises of clean floors? You think I'm that easy of a catch? Honestly.
Wow.
did no such
Old
thing.
married
You were
couple.
the one who started discussion on the topic in the first place. You would agree
so this
with
is
me.
my
If
fault
you
now?
have a
Old married couple. I don't think I need to say any more. That is pretty much all I wanted to do this episode. Unfortunately, it's kind of short, but short happens every once in a while. Anyway, I quickly go over my abilities, what everybody has. So, just a quick glance at everybody. If you see anything that you think would be better for anybody to have, go ahead and let me know. I think I have a pretty decent setup as far as things go. Renewal is on everybody who has it. I'm trying to get Fiendish Blow on Byleth without actually going through Dark Mage? Whatever the actual thing is. Death Blow is something that I probably should work on getting him as well, just so that I can have pretty good flexibility for Byleth, because he seems to be an excellent mixed attacker. He's quite speedy, has high dexterity. His strength is quite a bit higher than his magic, but they're both very high, and he can do a good bit of damage with either. So, yeah. And I am getting a pretty good idea about some of these characters. I'm actually kind of surprised at how Felix has turned out, because he's actually turning out to be kind of not that strong. But, besides the point. Ash is pretty weak, I'll be honest. Maybe I haven't been raising him right, but, Mercedes has been kind of interesting. Live to Serve, I wish more people had that, because that is a wonderful ability, but it's restricted to her personal skill. I really kind of find it weird that Annette came as an axe and magic user. But whatever, Lorenz is incredibly weak. He's been getting some interesting character arcs, but he's not really that strong. Maybe Fiendish Blow will help him, but who knows. Ignaz has been incredibly weak. Going to have to take advantage of lethality, which is random chance, because of course it is. Lysithea is just my nuke. She walks in, says, "Oh, there's a bad guy who is dangerous. Dead." Defiant Magic is kind of interesting, but I don't want to get her hit points that low, because she doesn't really have that much resilience. She's pretty easy to weaken. Leonie has been very powerful for how low her level is. I mean, she's comparable to Ferdinand, who's like 5 or so levels ahead of her, which is always good. Seth has been a bit of a surprise, and I do like that he actually comes as a very powerful Wyvern class. So there's that. Flane kind of fell behind because she failed masterclass exams a lot. So I haven't formed as much of an opinion on her, but she seems to be actually pretty decent. Hanneman, he hits like a truck, but he's so slow, and it's really hard to work with that. He does have very good magic growth, so... Manuela, very high speed growth, but her magic and strength grow at about the same rate, which makes, and they're both very low growths. So yeah, the old married couple is not that great. Alois has been a bit of a surprise, I'll be honest, with the with how late you get him and everything. So he'll be interesting to continue using. Catherine, I wish she had like a definitive class to go into. Right now I'm just trying to get her into Falcon Knight and hope that works pretty well for her. I'll find out, I'm sure. Shamir is a bit of a powerhouse, which is a surprise, which kind of, I guess, surprised me at first, considering that everybody was saying that some people were saying that the teachers, the instructors were all pretty bad. Cyril, the only reason he's good is probably aptitude, because his growths only seem to be benefiting from aptitude. They seem to be pretty low otherwise. But because of aptitude, he has very good growths. Anna is borderline garbage. Part of the reason is because she doesn't have supports with anybody. And part of the reason is because there's no real, like, definitive class for her either. Yeah, so, in general, oh no, Ferdinand, I thought Ferdinand was in the 40s. I was wrong. Ferdinand and Leone have, like I said, they're very similar, although the level difference is only 2. But Ferdinand is, I believe, slower than Leone. Oh, wow, a lot slower than Leone. And Leone, with 32 strength, actually is outpacing Ferdinand. So, yeah, Leone's turned out to be excellent. Yeah, it is kind of interesting. I like a lot of these characters for different reasons, and it's been rather interesting. I don't think there's anything like huge as far as combat arts go, because I mean I decided to give healing focus because just in case he's away, that it's an excellent skill, honestly. Just in case he's away from a healer, it gives him a little bit of survivability. So, there's that. Yeah, I'm not really seeing too much that I can think of. It's kind of interesting that he has healing focus too. I think it might actually come from fisticuffs, which means that I might consider getting some more people trained up in unarmed combat just for that. So yeah, there's not terribly much here. I think Catherine also has healing focus. Alois definitely does. Yeah, Alois has it. Yep, Catherine does have it. So yeah, there's some ideas and stuff, and if you see anything that would be better for them, just let me know. But that's kind of the general makeup at this point. I probably need to go through battalions again, but that's not a big deal. But the main reason that I'm not continuing this episode any longer is because of the activities. I think I'm going to do battle, and there's nothing to show. So, there's that. So, for the time being, this will be Draco Breach reporting out. God bless, and safe travels.